Hello. They say love is a beautiful thing, but sometimes in a pursuit to find love, we go through experiences that define us and they shape how we view love. And sometimes these experiences are good, sometimes they're not good. Here with us today is a guest who has an experience to share with us. We would like to welcome her to the show so that she can talk to us and share whatever experiences she has gone through and how it has affected her life. This is BitterSweet Love Talk Show, and I am your host, Alton and Juma. Karibu to the show.
Thank you.
Yes. How was your journey from Kisii?
My journey from Kisii was good.
Yes.
Yeah, although long, but we thank God.
Yeah. Please introduce yourself so that our viewers can know who we are on the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Caroline
Yep.
Makungu. I'm a Christian, saved. A mother of three, single mother of three. Been single for the last 12 years.
It is our tradition in the show, just before we start the show,
Yes.
to get to gauge you and to understand where you are emotionally. So you have an experience you've gone through and you want to share it with us.
Yeah.
Whenever you think about what you've gone through at this moment, how does it make you feel? Do you think you're still bitter or have you healed out of it? And I want you to answer this question by picking either of these glasses here. And then maybe you can explain your choice.
Okay. Whew. I think I'll pick the mango.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. You know what that signifies?
Yeah. Looking at things, lime is a bit bitter and mango is sweet.
So basically, you are telling us that whatever you're going to share is something you went through and you've been able to overcome.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Cool. I can help you. All right. So, who is Caroline?
Wow. Caroline is a single mother, as I had initially said,
Yeah.
who was married. I got married way back in 1996. Yeah, 96. And I must say it was bitter, but now it's sweet because when I got married, I was quite young. I think I was only 19 because I had just cleared my high school and I was supposed to go to the next level. My dad had plans of taking me for medical whatever to study medicine in India. And I must say I had never known love in my life because I had been brought up with a single mom. So I had never known love. So here came this guy whom I met, and it was interesting because the guy that I met, we used to school with the sisters in high school, way back in high school. So when I met the sisters and we were so jovial and we became close, and after some time, I just got engaged to the guy and that was it. So I married this guy in 1996. And immediately, because he had suspected that my dad really wanted me to pursue education, immediately we had push and pull until I was enrolled again. So I went to Kenyatta University, did a bit of, I was doing secretarial duties. And then after that, along the way, I became pregnant. That was my first boyfriend. And sorry to say this, sometimes that really hurts, imagining that it's your first boyfriend and things happen. So that was it. We got married. When my daughter was born after 3 months, I thought it was good. I really didn't. I saw him struggle financially in the house, and I thought I need to support.
Yes.
So you can imagine a young lady after 3 months of birth going to Gikomba to buy clothes and rotate with them. So that was it. I think I loved him seriously. So I was forced to carry the pregnancy. At some point, we realized that they were boys, twins, not really one, as I had thought. Lucky enough, went to hospital, then got the boys. So life continued. And it was not an easy life because One, had you looked at me and the kids, you would think that I am their house girl. Because what I used to do, whatever I used to get in my place of work, I would concentrate on the boys and the girl. And that was it. So at some point, I would really feel like it's hard. It's hard on me financially, seriously hard, because then the man is not providing anything. Yeah. So one time, in the year 2008, I think it was in 2007, he won a green card. And when he won a green card, he was supposed to leave. He didn't tell me that.
Okay.
The guy went there, and after like he was communicating very well, and then after like 6 months, he went mute. 2009, and my daughter calls me and tells me, "Mom, you know what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Dad is home." I'm like, "How? Dad is home. He can't tell us that he's coming." So she told me, Mom, he's here. Then I told her it is fine. I was used to like this man, in as much as we had all our issues, and I used to feel so bad about him and him not being responsible. He would come to the house, and the first thing I would do is to make sure that I warm water and wash his legs. Sometimes women, we are told to be wise in some things. Why was I washing his legs? It's because I realized that he had a foot problem. I think the toes, there was some smell coming out, but I didn't want to like tell him openly that this is what's happening, because I realized he would get off me. As I was washing, and you know the shoes are outside, and I've already dipped his legs in the water that was warmed. Something told me as I was lifting the shoe, just from behind, Carol, be sensitive. So I was like, God must be speaking something about these shoes. So I took the shoes outside. I didn't do anything on them, washed the vegetables. As I was washing, I held the bucket, going to pour the water. I had a voice, Carol, remember, be sensitive. I returned the water at the balcony. God, what are you saying? There must be something that you're communicating that I don't understand. Then I said, oh God, what am I going to do? I'm hearing this. I said, fine. So we went to sleep. And when we went to sleep, I told him, I was not feeling like, I even didn't want to hear about sex, because my mind is already filled with everything. Actually, I was not myself. I think I was in heaven. I normally tell my kids I was in heaven by then. I told him, Daddy, I think we don't need to even have sex, because we need to go for a test. Yeah. So what we do, let's organize and go for a test tomorrow. When I went to the house, I met him coming upstairs, going down, and me, I was coming upstairs. So I asked him, you're already leaving? And he said, yes, it's when I'm leaving. So me, I rushed. On the wall unit, something struck that I touched something on the wall unit. I touched and I saw it was a phone. I asked myself, this guy, I had asked him about this phone, and he told me that this phone he doesn't have a phone. I told myself, I don't know, but let me just look at it. So when I looked at it, the first thing that I saw in the pictures was an expectant lady. And this lady was in his house in America, because he had showed us a video. Then immediately, hell broke loose in me. Everything was off. And I was like, what is happening, God? I don't understand. As I was looking at it, he came. Carol, I have forgotten something. And I told him, what is it? Could it be this? He said, yes. I told him, if it's this, we have something to discuss. And he told me, no, I'm in a hurry. I told him, okay, fine. If you're in a hurry, go, then you'll come for it. We discuss. So he said no. Then I asked him, Daddy, what is this that I'm seeing? Who is this lady? He said, this lady is a friend of mine who got married when I'm in America. Then he sent me the photo. Then I'm like, a photo of an expectant lady alone? I told him, fine, show me the video of your house. I want to confirm something. So as I looked at it, I asked him, Daddy, but I think this photo and this video, just pause. They are the same. Why are you lying? No, Carol, you like accusing me? And I said, okay, fine. So what we do, we were not legally married. Like, we didn't do a church wedding, but we were customarily married. Okay. I told him, Daddy, what you do, remove the ring from my finger that you left, having told me that you need everyone to know that I'm married. I was very small. I was minute. I was like a small girl. Mm-hmm. So he said no. And we had an argument, like, the whole night, the whole day and half of the night. He doesn't want to remove the ring. So he removed the ring very late in the evening, and I told him, thank you. At least now You are free and I'm free. Because why I told him to remove the ring is because I also realized that what I had put in his finger on his finger, he had removed it. Monday came, the cousins, he had his cousins in the house. They came, I prepared food for them to bid him farewell. So we took him to the airport in the night. As I was coming, I remembered that I have a friend in America. So I called this friend and told him, I am in trouble. I need to understand a few things. There's this and this and this that I don't understand about this man, and I need to understand. So this guy did a lot of investigations, and the following day, that was the worst night of my life. He calls me and he's like, he called at around 9, and I told him, I'm on the road, kindly call me later. That later, he didn't have the guts. He gave another friend of his, a white guy, who knew a bit of Kiswahili and could talk a bit of the way we talk. So at around 3 in the night, this guy calls. Hi, how are you? I'm fine. My name is so and so, and I've been sent to you by so and so to tell you something. So this guy said, you gave an information of someone called the so and so. Yes. We've confirmed that the guy is married. He's married to so and so. They got married on such and such a day, and they are expecting a baby. You know, I was in bed. I just screamed, and my daughter was next to me. So she was like, Mom, what is it? I don't know. It's okay. I just got a shock from the night, and let me go to the living room to pray. So I went to the living room. As I was praying, my daughter came. Mom, please stop pretending. What is the problem? I told her, nothing. She asked me, is it about daddy? I said, yes. What is it? And I told her, your dad has married. And then she said, you know, my daughter encouraged me. By the way, she's a great blessing. She told me, Mom, let me tell you one thing. Do you know that God is the father to the fatherless and the husband to the widows? You are not left alone, and you're with us, and furthermore, Mom will not disappoint you in life. You know, she's talking and she's a class 7 by then. So he was not calling, he was not talking to us 2009 and 10 and 11. At one point, he would talk if you want. So when the girl did class 8, I thought, let me just write him an email just to tell him because he's the father. So I wrote an email to him and told him, you know what he asked me? The girl had gotten 332 marks. But you see, with all the things that were happening in our family, me, I thought she had tried. So he asked me, now with those marks, where will she be called? I was equally hurt and irritated looking at what we had gone through. So I told him, the girl will be admitted in church. Yeah, because then you're saying which school will she be admitted to? Then I've answered, it's in church. So we continued. When the schools opened in January, the girl was supposed to go. We sent him a message. He did what he wanted. You know, I mean, do what you want. The girl had been called in Western. We were living in Nairobi. He doesn't care how you'll reach there. He only sent a bit of whatever is, you know, the way the fee structure is structured. They normally don't put in like uniforms and everything. And I didn't have money. So there was like 30,000 outstanding. I don't know what to do. He doesn't want to hear that. So we went that way, and the things were bad. Now what he would do is only send 10,000. God was faithful. And I think it's good to trust in God, because when you trust in him, because now you see, there was no one to cry to. Personally, I'm an orphan. So there was no mother, no father, nothing. So I used to like talk to God, and I'm like, you're the only father. So when we were in that situation, I said, I'm a trained teacher. There's something I can do beyond sitting and waiting for the 10,000 that he sends. And mark you, the house that we used to live in was 10,000. So there's nothing. If besides being a teacher, I can do something else. So I went into insurance. I'm still struggling. Sometimes it was not easy because then, you know, when you begin insurance, it's so tough. Sometimes the house would be locked. We come back in the evening, the house has been locked. Then one worst scenario. That's one thing that really that's one thing that has put bitterness in one of my sons, that I pray to God that it will have a breakthrough one day. When this guy went, he called the daughter and asked the daughter, Mom, can I take you to a private school or your brother's? My daughter is she's an open-minded girl. Dad, I think I'm clearing class, almost I'm clearing primary. Why don't you take my brothers? So as they were there, I don't know what happened at some point. Those kids were in class 4. he just sent a word one day in school and said, keep those kids in the sun. I will not pay their school fees anymore. So I'm actually in the field doing my insurance things, and someone calls me and tells me, the head teacher of the school, Carol, are you aware that the director has said that your kids be in the sun? They are actually in the sun right now as we are speaking. I told them it's fine. So it was in the middle of the term and they've been kept out, and I don't know how, now where do I take them? I don't have money to take them to another school. There's nothing. So I told them, Dad, come, kuja. Mmefukuzwa, si leo mmeka kwa jua? And they were like, yes. Sorry, a bit emotional on that.
It's fine.
I asked them, mmeka kwa jua leo? Kwa nini teacher Clapperton alisema hivi na hivi na hivi? Na mmeonaje, mtaenda shule tena kesho? You know, I'm trying to test them to see what they're able to say. So they said, and then I was like, they told me, Mom, si tukae tu hapa badala ya tuende huko alafu tutafutie shule ingine. When I got that from them, I was like, okay, but now where is the school? As we are speaking, I don't have even a 5 cent. So I told my sons, Daddy, it is fine. Let's wait and see what God will do. So when the year began, I went to Moi Avenue Primary, and God had prepared the ground. They told me, here we admit children with 15,000 per child, because it's in town. But I don't know what the deputy saw. She must have seen something, or God must have ministered. I had not shared my story to them. Mom, the way you look like you're genuine. Let your kids be here. They will eat, they will drink. You will pay when you have money. In 2014, April, I think God must have also gone ahead. I thank God because of one thing. He's always gone ahead. He knew. I got a letter and was told that, Carol, from being an agent, we are promoting you to a unit manager in Kakamega, but you have to move and go to Kakamega. So when I came to Kakamega in 2014, the kids said they also want to come. It was not easy starting a life in a new town. I was so bitter with everything about that man. And I think currently that bitterness is over. I only get emotional when I remember a bit of what the kids had to go through. But imagine even a spoon I didn't carry from that house. The way I left it and wrote him an email and said, please tell your family members to go and take everything in that house. I don't need anything. Because I wanted to start everything. The only thing we carried of his are our pictures. Whatever we took together and the children, because I wanted the kids to have a memory of him.
How did that make you feel? And just hold the thought and the answer as we take a break. Okay. We will be back.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Welcome back to BitterSweet Love Talk Show. I am Alton and Juma, your host, and my guest, Caroline. So, he's coming back.
It was on a Sunday. We were having a meeting in Nairobi on Monday with our company. So when he was in school, actually I was told by someone that this guy is going to school. My only worry was seeing his kids was not an issue. But remember, this was 2009 and 10 and 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 15. Almost 8 years down the line. I was actually worried about the psychological torture of the kids and nothing else. So I called the class teacher and called the head teacher first of the school and told him, Sir, I have heard ABCD is happening. I don't want you to restrict him from seeing his kids in as much as we are not in good terms. But what I want you to do, you have to make sure that my kids are safe. True to my words, the guy went. And by the time he was going to class to see the kids, the head teacher had actually forgotten. So he remembered and sent word to the teacher. I was told like this. So the teacher says, he's already here and he wants to pick the boys. So the teacher was very concerned. The head teacher gave him 2 teachers, a lady and a man. If you want to walk with the kids around Kakamega town, and in fact, I remember there's one thing that he recorded telling him. In fact, if you've been away for almost 9 years, and have you ever bought this kid's uniform? He said no. He was told, what kind of a father are you? So he was, the man the head teacher had seen me struggle through in Kakamega Primary. So he told him, go with them, but make sure that you bring them back here in new uniforms. So he went, moved along with them and brought them. So I traveled back that evening because I was so scared of the kids being taken away. Because you remember at some point I had told you he had said, if I can't take care of the kids, then let me take them to his parents, you know. And for me and my kids, we are inseparable. So I couldn't imagine of that. The first thing that I didn't, I felt sorry is that looking at him the way he was, I asked him one question. You mean even the way you are in America, you are this way. Why are you this way? Why are you so wretched? You know, he looks like he's being disturbed by a few things. And he told me, no, I do a lot of sports. I told him, no, even a sports body is sin. You could glow in as much as you're reducing in your size. But I hugged him. Something interesting. I hugged him. That was the greeting. Thank God it was not Corona days.
After all these things,
found
the courage to hug him.
I just hugged him because my heart had always told me to forgive him. And I thought that would be because there was no time for talks, that was the only way to show him that I've forgiven you. So I hugged him and he smiled. I remember when I saw his smile, it really had a lot. That was the first experience that was so hard for me, meeting him immediately after realizing what he had done. Anytime I would talk to him about supporting the family, we would, I would get hurt. Actually, for him, maybe he would feel like, but me, the answer I would get would put me in bad shape. So I said, I think I'm a woman and I can struggle, and with God, everything is possible. When my girl did Form 4 and she passed, she got an A. That is when I knew that now the kid belongs to the society. Because now my father-in-law, my sisters-in-laws, my brothers-in-laws, all of them, even him, he called for the first time. A serious call. I'm talking to the daughter, oh, you've done well, I'm happy, I'm proud of you. But you see where the whatever is going, the credit,
Yeah.
And I said, okay, fine. So we continue that way. We don't talk. What I decided is I will buy the kids phones because anytime I would see his call on my phone, I would feel irritated. That is before I got healed. I would look at it, and when I just look at it and I give my daughter or my sons. So I thought instead of me getting hurt, why don't I just buy for them phones so that he can be talking to them directly? So he continued doing that, and they would talk and they would talk. And me, I showed disconnection because I wanted to move on. I really didn't want to stick there. So when that was the first experience that we were meeting physically after the breakup, which he didn't want to admit that he had another woman. But by and by, he had to admit because then when I told him that, me, I don't think we can continue, he just had to also continue with his life, but of course without saying anything. In the course of that, my father-in-law called me at some point and told me that, Mom, I understand and I know what has happened. But for me, you're still a daughter in this family. So anytime you have a problem, come. But you see, these are his parents. In as much as he would tell you that, but there are things that they feel their son is right. And I told them, okay, it is fine. Let's continue with life. Now we were coming to the second experience. It was at around 1. I received a call. Carol, Dad has passed on. Now you know what I was thinking. In fact, I was not thinking about the death. Of course, for him, to me, he was a friend. But I was not thinking about the death. I was thinking about now the second meeting, second social time meeting that you're going to meet with this man. It is never easy because, sometimes you ask yourself, how will I react? What will I do? And then how will I conduct myself? Remember, I'm already off the family for more than, by then it was almost 10 years. So now, on that day, we took the body to the morgue. Because my father-in-law left instructions. When I went to visit him the last time, he had told me, Mom, when I die, your vehicle should be behind my vehicle. So now comes the morgue day. And now, I'm coming from Kakamega town. They're coming from their home. So I went to the morgue and I meet them and I meet my husband and we just, because now he's been in tears and I only hugged my sisters-in-laws because they are the ones that, I can hug. So for him, he just bypassed us and I also bypassed him because that was what was in my mind. I don't need to talk to him anything at this time. And two, I didn't know whether the new wife is there. Now ni wa wenyewe at that point.
Allow me just interrupt you for a minute.
Yes.
The other time he came and you felt like he was going through something, you hugged him.
Yeah.
And this brought a smile on his face. This time his father has died and you're there. and you didn't hug him.
Yes.
What informed these two reactions?
Okay. Remember when he came to the office, he was alone. Fine. Now here at the funeral, I am not sure whether the other.
The wife is there.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was actually being cautious.
All right.
Yes. So we went and took the body home. And when we arrived at the boma, I'm looking at things and it's like it's either both of us were going through something psychologically. Yeah. So we finished, we buried. One of my sons came and told me, Mom, let's go and take a family photo. And I was like, family photo? He said yes. I said, okay, it's fine. So where he was taking me, I found the dad there. I just gave him his respect anyway, because one, I'm looking at the future of my kids. And I told him we have to go. Then I said, let me test him a bit. So I sent one of my sons and told him, go and tell your dad I don't have fuel for the car. So the dad was like, anataka pesa ngapi? So I said, mambe kupatia 1,000. He willingly gave it. That is one thing that I had not seen it in him. So when he gave the 1,000, I said, okay, fine. So we told him, fine, we are going. And when I was like going to say bye to him, just normal, he brought a hug. And I said, okay, there are things that you can't, causing drama in such a place. I just said, fine. So we went. And now we are coming to the third one, which was the most recent one. My daughter was graduating last year in KU. And I was so prepared and I was happy. And then she tells me, you know what, Mom? Dad has said he's coming. And I'm like, now how? How again? She told me, Mom, I know you're not happy. I know you're not happy, you don't feel it, but please let him just be there. It is time for you people to just understand that it is my day. The good thing that he did was that he said everything about the reception, he will take care. That day came and I took the girl early to the graduation square. And as we were there, at some point, I saw him. And I told my friend, Muite, he was passing to take photos. So when she said, she called the name, the guy looked and was like, wow, I could see the excitement in his face. And he took pictures of us. He was taking, up to now, he's never sent us those photos. But he took the photos and was struggling to reach the graduation square to take photos. So we just looked at each other, and even this girl, I remember she made a comment, hey, today this guy is happy. So we went through it, and it was a long party that was so emotional. It ended at midnight. He just wakes up one morning, and I get a WhatsApp message in my phone. I want the boys to come to America. And I'm like, as someone who's gone all through that with the kids, and then now someone is telling you, let the kids come to America, to a stepmother, and to someone who has never known them. They don't know him. They just know he's our dad. But so those are the things that I was looking at. And then too, I told myself, and the way I have bonded with these kids, how do I start? Then I spoke. Then the messages I wrote to him, he's made my daughter a go-between. He forwarded everything to my daughter. Then he called my daughter and told her, I want your brothers to come to America because of better opportunities. And I want them to come before they're 18 so that they can be citizens. Yeah? If they are over 18, then we will have to struggle. So my daughter calls me, like after 5 minutes, Mom, Kwani, have you had an exchange with Dad? I told her no. I just sent him a message and told him that he can't bring up my kids when they're under 18. So she talked to me, Mom, you don't know. This is the issue. And she told me the whole story of what the father wants. It's not an easy thing. I told her, Mom, it's not easy. And she told me, Mom, I know it is not easy. But what you do, just allow them. Allow them to go. My bishop told me the same. My other bishop told me the same. The intercessors after our prayers. So after like a week, my heart was, there was some comfort in the heart. So I wrote to him a message and told him, you can proceed.
Through your narration to this point, do you still think you want to stick with your mango juice?
Yes, because I believe that I'm not, okay, in my heart there is a lot of healing.
Yeah.
So much has happened, but the more they happen, the more I get. Actually, for me, it's like an experience that is teaching me.
Okay.
So the mango juice for me would still do because there's no bitterness.
All right. We will take a break, and when we come back, we will be able to hear more of this and any other thing that is left to be told by our guest. All right. Welcome back to BitterSweet Love Talk Show. So, Caroline, tell me, after all this narration, where would you say you are at the moment? You, your kids, and your ex-husband?
Where would I say we are? God, in terms of
Generally.
okay. Where would I say we are? He's alone. We are here with the kids. Okay. The good thing is that he's in good terms with his kids.
Okay.
So them, they are them. But as for me, I think I've already moved on.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, just riding on the moving on part, how have you been able to handle being alone for all this time? Or have you been seeing someone through this process that you have been going through? Because our viewers will want to understand. You are a human being, you have feelings, you want to be appreciated, you want to have that sense of belonging. Do you, are you seeing anyone, or you decided you want to take some time out?
I think I took a bit of some years with bitterness towards men. So it really made me imagine and remember that was the first love. It really hurt me and broke me so much. Currently, if I have someone is a friend that we are going to go some length, and when the person looks like there's something serious that he wants, I would just back off. So we are friends, but nothing serious going on in my life. But I know it will.
So we would say you're putting barriers
Yes, that's
between
the
you
thing.
and the friend.
That is
Why
it.
would you say that is so? Is it because you're afraid of getting hurt again, or is it because whatever you went through has not yet, like, really, you've not gotten over that completely?
Okay, when this happened, when this breakup happened, I told myself, I've seen kids who go through challenges because there was a remarriage after the breakup.
Yes.
And I told myself, I want to see my kids through so that by the time I'm even getting married, remarried, they will understand that mom is getting married because now she's lonely. Yeah. So as per now, yes, that being afraid of being hurt was part of it. But along the way, when soberness started coming into me, I realized that I need to give them time to grow. Then after that, I think about a serious relationship.
In the case that you're in, loneliness is guaranteed. How do you handle these moments that you feel you're lonely? There are times you come from work and you just feel like you want to go back home to someone and there's no one there. And to add on that, how do you handle your sexual urges?
That's a nice one. Okay, one thing that I learned is that sex is always in the mind. That's one thing that I told myself. And when I imagine that what I'm going through is because of sex, at some point it happened and put me there.
Okay.
It's really not my breakfast. I don't like it.
Okay.
That's one thing. And then two, so many people think that I'm abnormal because of that. Because when they want to get closer to me sexually, it's like I retrieve. Now, one thing that I've always made and I used to do, I know they're usually those bad times, very early in the morning or very late in the evening.
Yes.
And I put it as is it like a culture that every day in the morning between 2 and 5, I would be in church in serious prayers, whether alone or actually I used to do it alone. And in the evening, I would engage in prayers. Then now too, my job. My job is very, very strenuous. And I normally imagine, even now when I come to the house, I ask myself, if I was married today, I think this man would just go. Because one, I come back home very tired. I want to sleep on my tummy and find myself like that in the morning. So there's nothing like sexual urge that comes in my mind. But then there is one thing, that loneliness part of it, I cannot deny. One thing that I do And I know I'm this kind of a tom. Do we call them tom girls or tomboys? I'm a tomboy. Yes.
Yeah.
The bigger percentage of my surrounding are men. So you'll realize that there's one who'll maybe joke on phone, talk like this, WhatsApp a bit. And by the time, for me, I get over that through chatting. Yeah. Once I chat with them and we are good to go. And that's why I'm telling you the problem is that once you're chatting with someone and someone feels like he's getting there, yeah. And now when the person gets there, you block. So that's there I've managed to live my life for all these 12 years.
Don't you think you're sitting on a time bomb?
Why?
You're human. One
Yes.
of these fine days, these feelings will get the best out of you. And oh my, you would really want to find yourself with a man. Don't you think what you're doing right now, you're saying, yes, there are men who you chat with, you talk with, and they make you feel like a woman. They take away that feeling of loneliness. But as human beings, we always want to be held. We want to be reassured that we are the one. And you're not getting that. Because whenever a man tries to get to that point, you're always
Back off.
shielding them off.
I think it's something that I've thought about it, and especially when like now I'm very candid with my kids as at this stage, and I tell them I normally try to joke so that I can see whom they can place. Mine, it's not my happiness. Okay, of course, in as much as it will be mine after they are gone, but their happiness for me right now is a guarantee. It's point number one. So what I do, I chat with them and try to find out if I go out with somebody, what would they feel? If I brought in somebody, what would they feel? And looking at how things are, I had given myself like after high school, kids will understand. So I'm looking at it like we only have like an year for them to clear. So by the time they'll be clearing and looking at the pipe, the people that are in my pipeline, I'm already trying to see who is a serious person. Yeah. And based on how I've been looking at things, this serious person who asks for sex and you say no and disappears, for me, that's not a serious person. A serious person is someone who will persist. And of course, they are there in the pipeline. That at some point before that time bomb comes, I think I'll have already made my decision.
All right. But there are cases that we have come across where a couple would say, we met, we had sex on the first night, and now we are here, we are married, we're happily married, we have kids. Anyway, you mentioned that your second pregnancy was not intended to happen. And this cost you a lot of pain. Would you say that this was the breaking point in your marriage? Or would you say that the breaking point was when you realized that he was married to someone else? And along your transition, did you ever talk about this other woman? And did he ever explain why he opted to marry the other woman when he had actually gone through a traditional ceremony with you? Or he never talked about that?
Let me start off by answering this issue of the breakup. I really don't think like you remember when I said that I got pregnant and I really wanted to do away with it.
Yes.
The main reason was because there were already challenges in the family of that issue of non-provision. Yeah. So I would not say the kids brought in any whatever, any breakup. Yeah. It was already there. It's something that was happening slowly. But now here is when maybe I got to open up. Yeah. So that now people get to understand that this is what I'm going through. And I really need to do this because of this. The only maybe time that really the two of us know.
Have you ever brought up the issue like you want to talk to him about that?
This time, no, because you see, by the time I was realizing that this has happened, he was already away.
Sorry.
Yeah, and when I realized that immediately, I wrote him an email asking him that I have seen this and this and this, and I've confirmed. Is it true? And what I did, because I wanted to know, thinking that maybe the other woman didn't know that he had a family. So I even wrote and said, do you know that this man is married? Then the lady wrote an email and told me that you and him were only roommates, you know. So I forwarded the same and asked him, is this what you people have been discussing? So that was the only platform that we could have gotten to speak. But sorry to say this, men normally don't like getting into issues. Most men, if you start bringing up things that will dig up his my memory and the thoughts and imaginations, they normally back off. Yeah, so that's it.
All right. What are some of the challenges you have gone through? And I will deliberately not call this as a single mother, but as a single parent. We have this phrase that always is flown around: single mother, single father. I don't believe in single motherhood or fatherhood. You are a parent
Yes.
of beautiful kids.
Yeah.
Why do most women want to refer to themselves as single mothers and not single parents? And what are the challenges you go through as a single parent? And how do your kids take you as a single parent?
The first challenge that I know even makes people not be able to cope up is the challenge of you being found with someone's husband. It doesn't matter what you're talking about, be it in a church or anything. If you get, if you're not alert upstairs, you can really get shocked at what you will hear or see. But for me, I was able to overcome that because at some point, I think I just overlooked that and took myself like I'm mature and I'm a Christian and that is it. The second challenge is now this single mother maybe has those urges that you're speaking about, and forgets that there are kids in the house and brings the man there. So you can imagine the kind of relationship that will be there if this kid realizes that mom had a man in the house last night. Then another challenge that it's as major as the first one is financially. Another thing, maybe you are in, like me, my daughter, a girl, we know that they require father figures in their lives, whether we like it or not. And I was looking at it and asking myself, I'm not getting married today or tomorrow. So which father figure do I give to my daughter? If there is no father figure in the lives of those kids to discipline them like a father, again, it's another challenge. And that's when you realize that a single mother now and a lose track because there's no one to assist in parenting.
You talked about wanting to abort your babies at some point. We come across photos and articles of women who have carried their babies for 9 months only to deliver and throw them in dustbins, in the pit latrines and all that. What would be your message to such people?
Okay, when I look at my sons today, I think I feel proud.
Yeah.
And we would not blame the women. I normally say, as I join that with something else, you cannot blame a woman who aborts, and you cannot blame a woman who goes to Koinange to look for food for their children, because it's normally overwhelming for them. Such people, maybe what I would advise is, in case you have that pregnancy and you feel that you seriously don't need it, can you be able to share with someone? Even you can go to a hospital and share with a doctor. Just speak out.
Right. This would be my second last question. Why didn't you use your kids against your husband?
There's one thing that people don't understand. The Bible says that the father holds the blessings of the children.
Yes.
Yes.
Train up a child
In the way that he should go. Yeah. When he's old, he'll not depart from that.
Why do you think it is so easy for young couples to walk out of marriages unlike the days of our forefathers?
It's quite unfortunate. The other day I was discussing with my daughter because then she's a victim of a circumstance. And I was telling her, Mommy, I don't know in your generation whether you people will be getting married, because nowadays it's in and out. People get married today, tomorrow they're out. And I was looking at a few issues that affect those marriages. And as you said, ladies currently want to get married to a man who is already well off. So that's one thing that they need to think about. Two, ladies currently, they're getting married, sorry to say, and they don't want to have sex in their marriages. So you're asking yourself, why were you getting married in the first place if you knew that you're not going to be? Yeah. Then three, us as ladies, we don't want to act like you are a lady of the house. You want to be like the man. You know, You don't want to cook. You don't want to. You don't want to do things that concern a woman. And let me tell you one thing: a marriage will break so long as a woman leaves her house for another woman. As you observe, currently people work with house girls. House girls. The house girl wash. The house girl iron. The house girl give food. The house girl serve the husband. The house girl make the bed. That cannot happen. We are too lazy for a family currently.
Okay.
And when this happens, that laziness is also pushed to the side of even working. We don't want to like look like we are transparent even in our resources, because then it's normally said, for a woman, her money is hers, but for the man, it's ours. Yeah. How I wish women learned that the money that is whatever it is in the house is ours, and let's learn to dialogue and let's share. Let's talk about it critically. And my advice, especially to those people who normally get married, like I tell them, if there are things that you need to discuss about critically before you get into a marriage, in as much as mine broke, but I'm looking and seeing, I've had experiences of people. The first thing is finances. The second thing is your sexual life. The third thing is about your children. How many children do you tend to? How do you expect to raise them? Because sometimes you realize that a man wants to discipline a child in a marriage, the woman doesn't want, and it's done openly. Wachana na mtoto, you know. So the man feels out of place and anakuachia sawa, akiharibika ni wa mama, akiwa mzuri ni wa. Now, to my viewers that I would like to talk to about, especially single mothers. One, it does not mean that when you're a single woman, then you have to be funded by a man to survive. Secondly, I would like to talk to women about raising their children. If you're raising your child, raise up your child in the way of God. And then three, marriage is not the solution. You can remarry. I've seen people who've walked from one marriage to the other. My fear, getting into one marriage, then it fails, then another one, then it fails. I think it is good for a woman, a single woman. You have separated from your husband, well and good. Can you take your time so that as you get your second man should be the one and the final one, so that you can set a good example to your children. And above all, as I said, prayer.
Have you ever looked at a man and said, damn, I want that man, I'm going to pray to get that man?
We've had hard times.
Yes.
I have wished that. I would not lie. One, because I'm a human being and everyone wants good things anyway. So when you look at that, you say, I really need that man. I would really want, but you know, yeah. Right. So it happens.
Thank you so much for opening up to us and to our viewers and sharing your story. It takes a lot of boldness and courage to come out and speak about things that made you hurt. And we really appreciate this. And we hope that it has gone a long way into actually impacting other people who are watching us right now. But I just want you, by show of what you pick, because it's our tradition at the beginning, the middle, and at the end of the show. After you have talked about all these things, do you still think deep inside your heart that there's something that is still holding you back? There's something that still carries that bitterness, that weight is still there? Or you think you're free, but you have healed and you have let go of anything that happened in your life? Just by the show of what you'll pick.
I think I'll still stick to my language.
You're still okay.
Yeah, I'm still okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. We hope that this discussion will not be in vain. And our viewers at home have picked enough lessons from this. And until next time, this is BitterSweet Love Talk Show, and I'm your host, Alton and Juma. See you next time.